Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me welcome you to the Navy Day media interaction. If you remember, we met exactly 1 year back on the 2nd of December 2024, right here. A lot has happened since then, and I will try and encapsulate some of those in my opening remarks. Of course, you are free to ask questions during the Q&A session. Before I start, I have on stage my four able Principal Staff Officers, the Vice Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Sanjay Vatsayan, Deputy Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Tarun Sopti, Chief of Material, Vice Admiral Shiva Kumar, and Chief of Personnel, Vice Admiral Gursharan Singh. Although the Navy Day is on the 4th of December, I take this opportunity to wish all of us who are present here, as also to our countrymen, a very happy Navy Day in advance. Most of you are aware, but this is for the youngsters especially who are watching online or on television, that why do we celebrate Navy Day on the 4th of December? We celebrate the Navy Day on 4th of December to commemorate our audacious and decisive strikes on Karachi on 4th of December 1971, which caused much destruction and shattered the enemy's morale and will to fight. And dare I say that it changed the course of war of 1971. Much has been written about it, and I am sure all those who are present here are aware. But like I said, it is largely for the youth who are watching as to why do we celebrate Navy Day on 4th of December. This day is also a day for us to remember our heroes and pay homage to brave naval warriors for their valor and sacrifices during the war and wars, and thereafter as well. Huge gratitude to our naval veterans who shaped the Navy and propelled its growth to what it is today. Their vision, their leadership, their selfless devotion and commitment built the foundation for today's combat-ready, credible, cohesive, future-ready Atmanirbhar Navy. I also take this opportunity to acknowledge the role of media, both digital and print, for taking the Navy and what we do to the people of the country, and thereby enhancing the maritime consciousness amongst our populace. I'm extremely grateful to our Honorable Prime Minister for speaking about the Navy and matters maritime in his latest Mann Ki Baat just 2 days back on Sunday. This year's Navy Day celebration is being conducted in this Shangumugam beach in Trivandrum, Kerala, tomorrow, 3rd December. And Honorable President, our Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, will grace the occasion as chief guest and witness the operational demonstration being conducted by us. We truly acknowledge the support by the government of Kerala and the local administration at Trivandrum during our planning and when we execute the operational demonstration tomorrow. I believe there is a great enthusiasm amongst the population there to witness the op demo, which is being held for the first time. I look forward to welcoming our guests and visitors tomorrow, and hopefully some of us who are sitting here, I will certainly be there, but the media friends will also travel to Trivandrum, to God's own country. This brings me to the what have we achieved, what has happened in the last 12 months since the last Navy Day. You have been provided with a booklet, information booklet, but for those who don't have, and especially people who are watching online, I would highlight certain salients as to what has happened. To start with Operation Sindoor. It is an operation which still remains in progress, and therefore much of operational details cannot be put out in the open domain for obvious reasons. But as you would have noticed, we reaffirmed our commitment, our readiness, our capability, and most importantly, our deterrence potential of our Navy. Much has been spoken about that, including during those 4 days and thereafter. So all of you are aware, and it is also there in the open domain. Suffice to say that the aggressive posturing and the immediate actions which we took, including the deployment of carrier battle group in the Northern Arabian Sea, forced the Pakistan Navy to remain either in their ports or airports or close to Makran coast, and they never ventured out. So that was the role which the Navy played, and as has also been reported, that the Navy were ready to do what was demanded. We also noticed during those 4 to 5 days noticeable effect on the Pakistan economy. Some of you are aware that many of the major shipping companies of the world started avoiding going to the Pakistani ports. Also, there was increase in the insurance premiums if you were going to the Pakistan ports, and that led to minimizing of number of merchant ships willing to take the risk. For the last 7-8 months, after those 4 days, 5 days, we have continued to maintain a high tempo of operations, including in the Northern Arabian Sea, and robust maritime domain awareness so that we can respond to any eventuality quickly. Then this Diwali, the Indian Navy was honored to host our Honorable Prime Minister at sea. It was a historic moment as our Honorable Prime Minister witnessed multi-dimensional op capabilities of the Navy, the combat power of our service, which was centered around the carrier battle group, during his overnight stay on board the Vikrant. Now this action obviously has an effect on our personnel, both afloat and ashore, and our officers, sailors, and defense civilians drew inspiration and motivation from Honorable Prime Minister's visit and continues to do so. Some of the operational highlights, if I were to say, there are many, but I would only choose to bring out some. As I said, we have maintained a relentless op tempo through the swath of our areas of interest, from Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean and anywhere in between, which includes the Indian Ocean region. the southwest Indian Ocean region, the southern Indian Ocean region, and cumulatively we have clocked almost 11,000 ship days and 50,000 flying hours since the last Navy Day and counting. I want to highlight that we have maintained one ship in the Gulf of Aden since 2008 continuously. The ship is relieved on station for anti-piracy duties. Until date, 138 ships have been deployed for that, and they have been successful in safely escorting more than 3,700 merchant vessels of all nationalities, all crew. Since November 23, when the Red Sea crisis began, and which led to the increase in piracy incidents, we have apprehended 62 pirates. We means our ships. And since November 23, because of the heightened activity, especially by the non-state actors like Houthis, our 40 capital ships, along with their integral assets, which I mean helicopters, etc., and capability, which I mean Prahars, etc., have been deployed. They have ensured safe transit of 152 lakh metric tons of cargo on 376 merchant vessels. To our estimate, it has been valued at more than 6.5 billion US dollars. We have also responded during this period to more than 30 incidents and saved more than 520 lives at sea. To be more specific, one of our ships, INS Theg, got a letter of commendation from the International Maritime Organization for the daring ops done at sea last year when she saved 9 crew members from motor tanker Prestige Falcon of Oman. I also got a thank you letter from the Chief of Oman Navy. As far as the anti-narcotic operations are concerned, our units on deployment in concert with other national agencies have seized contraband worth 43,300 crores in the last year. We have been carrying out our duties of first responders very effectively, and we take great pride in that. Some of the examples, like I said, not all. On 21st March, our helicopter rescued or evacuated 3 medical emergency cases from MV Helen Star to Goa. 1 week later, 28th March, because of the devastating earthquake in our friendly foreign country, friendly neighbor, Myanmar, Operation Brahma was executed by the Government of India, and the Navy came to action straight away. 5 ships were made ready, which delivered more than 500 tons, metric tons of relief material within 48 hours. On 25th of May, we again rescued 3 crew members from sunken tanker MSC Elsa 3. And on 9th June, we evacuated 18 crew members from Singapore tanker MV Van Hai 3. We also inserted the salvage team on the tanker under very severe wind and sea conditions. June, as you would know, Arabian Sea is very rough. And the insertion of the salvage team ensured that this motor tanker can be towed away from our coast, and thereby, of course, ensuring that our coast remain clean. And not to forget the ongoing Operation Sagar Bandhu in in Sri Lanka post-cyclone Ditwa. Vikrant and Udagiri were the first to deliver the relief material to Sri Lankan authorities. They did it immediately, 12 tons of relief material, and helicopters embarked on Vikrant saved 8 lives of Sri Lankan nationals who were struck in flooded waters. One of our ships, Sukanya, has delivered again 10 to 12 tons of relief material in Trincomalee yesterday. Coming to working with our partners, as all of you are aware that no single navy can ensure maritime security across the vast swath of water in the oceans. So you have to have collaboration, cooperation with our international partners. We are very active. We are guided by the PM's vision of Mahasagar. We have conducted 21 bilateral, 9 multilateral, and 34 maritime partnership exercises, 5 corvettes, and 13 joint EEZ patrols since last Navy Day. I also want to highlight 3 maiden initiatives in the last year. You must have heard and written and seen about Indian Ocean Ship Sagar. This was a maiden initiative by the Navy, wherein INS Sunaina as IOS Sagar was flagged off on 5th of April from Karwar by our Honorable Raksha Mantri and embarked 44 crews from 9 IOR nations' navies and coast guards and sailed for over 30 days, visiting 5 ports, and drew great appreciation from all the participating countries, as also whenever she made a port call. All that is there in the open domain again. The second initiative which we did was AKEM, which is Africa-India Key Maritime Engagement, also means unity in Sanskrit, wherein we partnered with 9 African countries and we assembled in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Our Honorable Raksha Raj Mantri was present there along with the Defense Minister of Tanzania, and we had great camaraderie, exchange of best practices along with these 9 African countries. This again was greatly appreciated, and Tanzania has volunteered to host the next edition, which we want to make it biennial, that every 2 years. So next edition will be in 2027. IOS Sagar, we want to make it annual, so hopefully we will again have the next edition sometimes next year. You also must have heard about the participation, maiden participation of our DSRV in exercise Pacific Reach at Singapore. And during that exercise, the DSRV mated with submarines from 3 countries, that is Republic of Korea, the Royal Singapore Navy, and JMSDF. This was again a maiden endeavor. Coming to maritime adventure, we are so proud of our 2 young, brave women officers, Lieutenant Commander Dilna, Lieutenant Commander Rupa. I think the whole country knows them by now. As they undertook the Navika Sagar Parikrama 2, circumnavigation of the globe on sail, from 2nd October 24 and finishing on 29th May 25, and were again received by Honorable Raksha Mantri at Goa. They traversed 23,400 nautical miles, maybe more, over 240 days. 4 continents, 3 oceans, three capes, very difficult ones, as you are aware: Cape Leon, Cape Horn, and Cape of Good Hope. Just to put that in perspective, there has been 13,000 summits of Mount Everest, but only 1,900 sailors have successfully completed oceanic circumnavigation. So it's a difficult one. That's why I say we are so proud of these two young women officers. I'm grateful to Honorable Prime Minister for speaking to this duo of Dilna and Rupa in another episode of Mann Ki Baat about a few weeks back. All of you must have heard of that. It was a 10-minute conversation. Coming to the force level augmentation, we have inducted one submarine which was commissioned by Honorable Prime Minister on 15 January in that tri-ship commissioning event, and 12 warships since the last Navy Day. You would also be happy to know that Udayagiri, commissioned by RM in August at Vizag, was our 100th indigenously designed warship by our own Warship Design Bureau. And to celebrate that, we had conducted a seminar titled aptly, Nation Building Through Shipbuilding. The last commissioned ship in our Navy is INS Mahe, which was commissioned on 24th. It is the first warship which is designed by a private Indian designer. And this again was mentioned by Honorable Prime Minister day before yesterday in Mann Ki Baat. You would be happy to know, as proud Indians, that presently 51 platforms are under construction in various shipyards, DPSUs, PSUs, private shipyards. Since December 24, we have also got acceptance of necessity for 94 capital cases, which are valued at approximately 1,27,554 crores. These include 47 ships and 120 fast interceptor craft. We have also signed contracts for 83 capital cases valued at about 84,762 crores, which includes 46 emergency procurement cases of about 7,000 crores. We were happy to sign the contract for 26 Rafale aircraft on 25th of April. This contract includes, of course, performance-based logistics for 5 years, and we hope to get the first set of 4 in 2029. We also signed the contract for the NMDA, National Maritime Domain Awareness Project. We are very proud of it. Also commissioned the base depot ship Aravali. Combined, both of them will aggregate data from 7 ministries and 15 national agencies, and that will be utilized not only by the Navy but anybody who wants to use it as to what is happening in the maritime domain. We take great pride in being the leader in Atmanirbharta and self-reliance. Navy has always been, and therefore the next segment I want to highlight is technology induction and self-reliance. We had set up the NIIO and TDAC, the two organizations, in 2021. Both of them are working very closely with the Defense Innovation Organization and the DDP. We conducted Swavlamban 4.0, the 4th edition of Swavlamban, just a few days back, 25th and 26th November. It was very well received. Great participation from our industry, from our youngsters, with vision in their eyes to do something for the country. And it was very, very highly appreciated by our chief guest, Honorable Raksha Mantri. You would be happy to know that out of 565 IDEX challenges announced so far across the security domain, not only limited to Navy, Army, Air Force, 35% are owned by Indian Navy. That is 198 out of 565. The DIO has committed more than 1100 crores for development of prototype of our systems and has already disbursed more than 400 crores into the defense ecosystem of the country. We have also achieved 28 acceptance of necessity for 2,700 crores and 16 procurement orders exceeding 1,400 crores have been placed. All these I'm talking about is the IDEX schemes. This year, we also set up our Indian Navy Incubation Center for Artificial Intelligence, INICAI, at Bengaluru. And the center is already doing around 45 use cases in operation, administration, in logistics to help us to do better. Coming to jointness and integration, we have been in the forefront of this jointness and integration. As you are aware, the country's first joint command, the Andaman Nicobar Command, was a step up from what we used to call FOTAN in Port Blair. But more importantly, I think in operations, the synergy demonstrated during Ops Sindoor between the three services and other agencies was very heartening. From tactical level to operational level and beyond, I think all of us were on the same page. That speaks very highly about the leadership. We also conducted the Tri-Services Exercise Trishul, which some of you covered in early November off the coast of Gujarat with the Navy as the lead service. We undertook joint effect-based operations both on land and at sea in a multi-domain environment. Much has been written about it. Going forward, we aim, as we move towards the theaterization, we aim to have unified planning, common operational picture, and integrated operations. So that is our aim. We have also moved forward in the spheres of joint doctrines, joint logistic nodes, integrated maintenance working groups on various systems and equipment, and joint services study groups to address the issues which are being faced by services. Coming to the all-important HR aspects, we believe that our personnel remain the core during our strategic and operational objectives. We want to create resilient individuals, physically, mentally, and spiritually, so that they can withstand the pressures of daily life and operate and lead with clarity in an environment of relentless pace, rapid technological changes, and constant information noise. Coming to Agniveers, we are very happy to report that we have inducted Agniveers from 673 districts out of 806 districts across India. And we believe that we can go further, and that is what we are going to do. And therefore, our workforce actually represents the microcosm of the country. We have been practicing, and we do believe in gender neutral force. Navika Sagar Parikrama was one example. We have commenced induction of women pilots in fighter and helicopter streams. And we have started using gender neutral language in the country, in the service. The Navy takes great pride in being a learning organization. That we learn not only from ours, what we do, but also from what others are doing. And therefore, we continuously aim to refine our concepts and doctrines. And later today, we will be releasing our new version of Indian Navy Maritime Doctrine. Similarly, later sometimes, maybe early next year, we will release the strategy doctrine. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, we stand at as a country defining moment in our national journey towards becoming a Viksit Bharat. And as you also aware, that with our economy advancing steadily and confidently, it is clear that the seas or oceans, which are our highways for trade, connectivity, and energy security, will continue to shape the trajectory of this growth. There's no doubt about it. The geography says it all. As prime manifestation of India's maritime power, Indian Navy, your Navy, every Indian's Navy remains steadfast in promoting and protecting our national maritime interest. We remain committed to ensuring every sea lane critical to our national prosperity remains safe and secure at all times. And therefore, guided by these strategic realities that I have enunciated, this year's Navy Day theme we have chosen Combat Ready, Cohesive, Atmanirbhar Navy, safeguarding national maritime interest anytime, anywhere, anyhow. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your patient listening. And I'm sure you would have many questions. But happy Navy Day once again in advance to all of you and to all our countrymen.